Let's talk about one of the most unintentionally entertaining moments from With Love, Meghan, specifically episode 3, where Tan France shows up and, without even trying, completely steals the spotlight. From the very first scene, the awkwardness is hard to miss. Meghan greets Tan with a stack of picture books, including her own infamous The Bench. Now let's be real, that book isn't exactly a children's classic. It reads more like a poetic love letter to Prince Harry dressed up as a bedtime story. Giving it to someone she barely knows? That's less thoughtful gift and more shameless self-promotion. Tan, being gracious, accepts it politely, but the vibe is off from the start. And that's the theme of the episode. Forced charm, secondhand embarrassment, and yes, even dead flowers. What makes this episode fascinating is the contrast between Meghan and Tan. He walks in with this relaxed, natural energy, joking around, tossing his sweater aside before cooking, just being himself. Meanwhile, Meghan floats around the kitchen like she's acting out a Pinterest board called Wholesome Homemaker Vibes, sweater and all. Then comes the French toast scene. Tan casually explains that he makes it from scratch every morning for his 1- and 3-year-old kids. It's real, it's authentic, and it says something about his life. Meghan, on the other hand, fusses with the toast and then ruins it with her signature garnish, dried out flowers. Who puts dead petals on breakfast food? Even Tan looks like his soul momentarily left his body watching that happen. And that sums up Meghan's approach. She tries to craft this image of the perfect lifestyle guru, but it never feels organic. Even the editing gives it away. Choppy voiceovers, awkward zooms, and audio that doesn't quite match. It feels patched together, like the producers were scrambling to salvage weak footage. Tan doesn't need that. He's engaging, funny, and doesn't seem like he's pushing a brand. When he talks about his husband baking bread to relax, it feels genuine. Meghan tries to match him with a quip about drinking wine, but instead of coming off as relatable, it lands as tone-deaf, especially for someone trying to project a thoughtful mom persona. The episode only highlights the gap between Tan's effortless warmth and Meghan's curated performance. When they do crafts for his toddlers, she earnestly asks what colors a 1-year-old prefers. Then, instead of simple paint, she insists on cutting potato stamps with cookie cutters. It's impractical, messy, and screams trying too hard. Real parents watching probably rolled their eyes. Even wrapping presents, which happens twice in the same episode, feels like filler. No payoff, no purpose, just more footage of Meghan arranging things to look cute on camera. And that's the core issue. So much of the series is built on aesthetics. Fruit platters styled like showroom props, lattes with lavender, twine-tied gifts. Everything looks perfect, but very little feels real. Reviews have pointed this out too. The Guardian described the show as painfully contrived, and it's hard to disagree. It often feels less like a documentary and more like watching a glitch in a simulation. Pretty on the surface, but oddly hollow underneath. Tan, on the other hand, just shows up as himself. He shares family stories, cooks with ease, laughs at the chaos, and doesn't try to control the narrative. Even Chrissy Teigen, who makes a brief appearance later in the series, comes off more genuine, and she's not exactly known for subtlety. Meghan, meanwhile, seems to always be performing. Even her childhood story about buying a diaper bag for her dolls feels rehearsed, like another bullet point on a list of, "Look how nurturing I've always been." By the end, the real takeaway isn't Meghan's lifestyle tips, the crafts, or even the endless flower garnishes. It's Tan's authenticity. Without trying, he highlights everything the show lacks: warmth, spontaneity, and connection. And that's why this episode has become one of the most talked about. Not because Meghan nailed it, but because Tan reminded viewers what real charm actually looks like.